outlook here, go to categorical risk. We do have an enhanced risk for severe storms today. That is centered over portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, back out into Georgia. We did have an overnight MCS that caused multiple tornadoes, potentially even a strong tornado or two. Also caused upwards of 110-mile-per-hour winds, I believe, around or southwest of Tulsa. It was somewhere near Tulsa. We had upwards of 100-mile-per-hour winds last night. And that MCS is continued to push off to the east. It's weakened quite a bit, but now it's beginning to re-strengthen out here in northwest Alabama, northeast Mississippi. We're starting to see some re-intensification of that MCS. So the main threat today, obviously, is damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour, isolated large hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter, and a few storm tornadoes are all possible. Tomorrow is a very different story. Tomorrow has the opportunity to go moderate here in 3 minutes. The new SPC outlook for tomorrow will be out in 3 minutes, and there is the chance that we see a moderate risk, 45 significant wind risk introduced for tomorrow. I haven't checked. That outlook may already be out. Let's see. Okay, that outlook is not out just yet, but there is a chance that we end up with a moderate risk for a 45 significant wind risk for tomorrow, whether it be on the day 2 outlook or by the time we get to day 1 outlook tomorrow morning. So we'll need to watch that very, very closely. There is the chance for a derecho tomorrow. Not too sure which classification to go off of. I've seen a lot of people in the weather community have actually ditched that 400 mile long stretch of severe storms. But the National Weather Service, they still recognize it has to be greater than 400 miles in terms of severe traveled distance there. So that's the one I'm going to have to use. And in that case, a derecho is going to be very difficult to get tomorrow. But there is the chance that we see a line of severe storms that tracks from the panhandle of Texas through the Dallas area and into Louisiana and Arkansas into tomorrow night. The SPC is denoted. If you look here, they have already noted the chance for 80 to 100 mile per hour winds. This is a very rare sighting here. It is not often that you see the SPC call for upwards of 100 mile per hour winds on a day 2 outlook. That is very, very rare. So we are looking at, whether it be a derecho or not, we are looking at a very widespread, very large, long-tracked line of extremely significant and likely destructive damaging winds across Oklahoma and Texas for tomorrow. That will also include the possibility for a couple of tornadoes. Look at that tornado risk. We do have a large 5% tornado risk out in Oklahoma and Texas. And then we could also see some very large hail, potentially upwards of softball size in diameter, upwards of 4-inch hail. Probably in the panhandle of Texas into western Oklahoma would be the most likely area for that. So again, we could easily see a moderate risk for damaging winds introduced here by the Storm Prediction Center. In just a few minutes, that will update. It should update at any given minute. So we'll need to see what they go with there. Also, the tornado risk out there in the Carolinas was removed today, so thank goodness I didn't go chasing today. Tomorrow there is a 2% out in Virginia for a remnant MCV that potentially causes blue skin out there. If you ever have chased in Virginia, or if you live in eastern Virginia, that terrain is unbearable. I highly doubt I will end up chasing Virginia tomorrow. Alright, let's go back down here into northeast Mississippi. We do have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning out. So this is now a PDS severe. We'll switch on over to that. So
a
that
new
is
PDS severe thunderstorm
severe
warning has been issued.
Warning for Smithville, Amory, and Hatley in northeastern Mississippi. Both of those are destructive severes. So 2 destructive severes with this storm. That newest one goes for 44 minutes. And these just got issued. That's why you didn't hear that chime yet. I was able to catch it before that chime even occurred. And these pixels are definitely upwards of 90, 95 mile per hour velocity. So we could easily be seeing 90 mile per hour winds moving over our radar site. Let's hope this radar site can survive. Because 80 mile an hour winds, that's definitely enough to try and knock out a radar site here. So you need to be seeking shelter. This is a potentially life-threatening, or rather, this is a life-threatening situation. It is a PDS severe thunderstorm warning. A tornado is also possible with this severe storm. So we're looking at 80 plus mile an hour winds moving into Amory, Quincy, Smithville, Prairie, Nettleton in northeast Mississippi. This is a dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. You see these velocities are very, very, very high. Some of them are even maxed out on this current. I think those maxed out velocities are corruption, but that whole area of like darker blues there, that is 80 mile per hour winds. Likely that's 80 mile per hour winds on the go back over to the other guys here. There's a lot of 60 mile per hour winds along this line as well, but the most destructive storm is definitely the far southern extent of this line. No rotation with this storm, but we can see it's going to tornado form very rapidly with this. And it was a cell merge. That's the reason it was really intensified. It was a cell merge. So there was a cell from the south that impacted the southern end of this line. And thus that allowed for it to intensify further. It went from about 50 to 60 mile an hour winds right up to 80 to 90 mile per hour winds on that side. Northern side of the line has weakened. We're going to see very frequent changes in intensity with this line over the next few hours, but this line is going to last for all day. This line will be here all day. All right, the SPC is late. I imagine they are probably consulting with local WFOs to coordinate if they need to upgrade to a moderate or not. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Whichever way things go, I wouldn't be surprised if we do or don't see a moderate risk. Let me go back over to weather-wise again. So, yeah, this is your main area. That's your main area for damaging winds right now of 70 to 90 miles per hour. Moving into Smithville, over Amory, and then eventually going to move into Hatley here over the next few minutes. And again, that is a destructive PDS severe for 80 mile an hour winds. Very, very intense severe storm. No, weather-wise doesn't get it before other sites. Weather-wise doesn't get it before other sites. Other sites like College of DuPage and Twitter still are going to get it quicker. All right, there we go. New considerable severe out for Fulton and Belmont. That's warned for 70 mile an hour winds. So all of these are, they're all considerable or destructive severes. This is considerable, and that's destructive, that's destructive. The only one that's normal, this is our only normal severe right now. It's over Florence for 60 mile an hour winds. That could easily be upgraded to 70 mile an hour winds if we see any type of intensification with the northern side of this line. And again, this is likely going to continue to fluctuate in intensity today. We're going to see these periods where it really intensifies, and then sometimes it's going to get down to possibly even below severe limits, and then it will re-intensify. We've seen that multiple times already today. But this is the main area for our swath of damaging winds for today. We're going to see it track from about Tupelo, where it is now, back up towards near Savannah, Tennessee, all the way back into northwest Georgia. That's where our greatest risk for very significant damaging winds, potentially upwards of 80 miles per hour will exist. Not many people are going to be out there chasing today. It's really a wind bag, but I decided to go live because I know that this area is heavily populated, and 80-mile-an-hour winds, that is nothing to mess around with. I mean, that is very, very dangerous. You need to treat that like a tornado warning if you're in the 80-mile-per-hour severe. I'll switch back over to GR2 so you can see that. Those orange polygons are your destructive 80-mile-an-hour severes there in northeast Mississippi. WSV3 is really good, but it's very intensive. Yeah, they did just pull the day 2 moderate trigger, by the way. So we now have a day 2 moderate risk over the Texas-Oklahoma border. There is indeed a day 2 moderate. Not surprised there. Very high chance that is damaging winds. I don't see that being for anything else. Let's see what we got here. A few tornadoes, destructive wind gusts of 80 to 100 miles per hour possible. Yep, so same wording, but more confidence. So there's your moderate risk for severe weather. So we've got a day 2 moderate now. Again, on the Oklahoma-Texas border. So that's just north of the DFW. That includes Wichita Falls, Texas. This is the new hail probabilities. This is your new probabilities for hail. 30 significant hail risk. And, okay, that is... that's a bit broken right now. That's broken. That is the new probabilities, but it is broken. Okay, what's up with the 5%? Okay. We're gonna need to wait a minute because I don't know. I don't know what's happening with the 5% tornado risk out in Virginia. Dude, that's a sharp cutoff. Wow. We'll wait for those to update. They might end up having to re-update that. I don't know if that's just on College of DuPage's end or if that's actually the a mistake by the SPC. Okay, that is a mistake by the SPC. What such a cursed outlook.
God
What in
almighty.
the world? So your actual moderate risk is this right here. This is your moderate risk tomorrow.
Hendrix?
That pink is broken.
The Storm Prediction Center
That
pulled
pink's
a
broken. That's
45
not supposed to be there.
sig
That's
wind,
supposed to be
moderate
red.
risk for North
And the
Texas
tornado risk
tomorrow.
up in Virginia.
Okay.
It's supposed to be.
That is rare.
What?
Well, not all that rare, but still. And here
I
it
have no
is.
idea what's happening there.
Pretty big one too.
That is a very weird 5% risk.
Yeah, that's a glitch too.
And a very weird 5% tornado risk in Virginia. Of course, when there's a 5% tornado risk in Virginia, it's completely broken. Yeah, so they'll update that very quickly. They'll reissue that since that is definitely a mistake. Yeah, but just to hold on, we can go to WeatherWise. WeatherWise might have it already. Yep. So that includes. Hey, Caden, aren't you like on the edge of that moderate?
That's
Caden?
crazy.
You're like on the edge of that moderate risk.
I can't believe there's a moderate risk in
You're
between
right on the edge of that.
Oklahoma City and
So there's
Dallas.
your moderate risk for severe weather. That includes Memphis in Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Ardmore, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Vernon, Seymour, Denton, Gainesville, Sherman, and north central Texas. That is for over 1 million people in that moderate risk for very significant damaging winds.
So tomorrow is supposed to be a
Damaging winds
derecho
near 100
up
miles per
to
hour will be possible tomorrow.
80 to 100 mile per hour winds. So.
All right, the 5%'s normal on weather-wise, and the wind risk is normal on weather-wise. So this is how your risk is actually supposed to look on the SPC site. It's supposed to look like that. Your 45 sig wind, much easier to spot there in Texas and Oklahoma. And then your 5% tornado risk back up in Virginia and actually Maryland. That doesn't go into NC. So there's your new outlook for tomorrow. Again, damaging winds is the reason for that outlook upgrade, which is what I was expecting. Still a destructive severe for 80 mile an hour winds going over Hately now. About to go directly over our radar site near Quincy in northeastern Mississippi. That's a very significant damaging wind bag there. Switch back to our analysis radar. On the northern side of this line has weakened very significantly over the past 20 to 30 minutes.
I shut it down last night.
It is weakened down to probably 60 mile an hour winds. So that new severe they issued for Florence in northwest Alabama, they'll likely keep it at 60 mile per hour winds. But this severe out here for Hackleburg, Hamilton, Winfield, Crossville, Vernon, Kendi.
If you want to do
in
that,
northwest Alabama, that is still a 70 mile per hour severe. I don't know, Carson. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I don't have
under
external
a slight risk tomorrow.
Link for
Virginia and North Carolina. At least that far south too.
Of course, Ava doesn't do.
It's just really precautionary because there's going to be likely a lot of instability tomorrow. So any storms that can really get going will likely be able to produce quick downdrafts of 60 miles per hour. But that tornado threat will really be focused
as far as I'm fucking
around the Washington,
D.C.
area, pointing south into far northeast NC. I mean, it's possible, Indiana, but it's highly unlikely. It's unlikely, but not impossible. See you later, Caleb. So this is where your 80 mile per hour winds is currently ongoing again south of Amory.
And she even logged me out of my fucking account
northeastern Mississippi. And they did just downgrade that to 70 mile an hour winds. So both of the first PDS severe was canceled, and the second PDS severe has been downgraded to 70 mile an hour winds. You can see that the first one was canceled, second one was downgraded. So this has been downgraded to 70 mile an hour winds here over Quincy, going over our radar site northeast Mississippi. Still want to be at least away from doors and windows. If not, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go to your safe spot, just in case we do end up seeing 70 to 80 mile per hour winds
is not allowed in the new Discord, nor the new server.
Okay.
For those who may be curious about Monday's outlook,
that's
here's
fair.
Monday's outlook for severe weather. This will update here in about an hour and 45 minutes, but right now we have a very large slight risk that has been maintained by the Storm Prediction Center. They've expanded that in all directions. Remember, we had a day 4 slight yesterday for Monday, and now this has turned into a day 3 slight, and it is significantly larger, mainly for the potential of damaging winds, possibly some isolated large hail, And we could see a spin up tornado or two, but the tornado threat should be very, very low for Monday. Should be very low. All right, let's go back here. Northeast Mississippi again, still dealing with 70 mile-an-hour winds. About to go right over our radar site. So if you know anybody in this area in any of these severes, make sure they are away from doors and windows. Those severe storms go all the way from just northeast of Florence, Alabama, all the way back down into Berry and Fayette in northwest Alabama. And still do include Smithville, Fulton, Belmont out here in northeast Mississippi as well. Again, tornado threat is low. It's not zero, but it is low out in this area. That's our first moderate risk in June. When was the last time we had a moderate? Was our last moderate? Actually, I'm just gonna look. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was in the middle of May, though. Yeah, I think it was that moderate risk in Oklahoma on May 19th. That huge moderate we had in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Texas were all in a moderate on that day. Absolute huge 15 sig tor, 45 sig wind, and 45 sig hail. So we didn't even go a month without a moderate, dude.
God,
we couldn't
damn.
even make it a month. And now
That's
we got a
crazy.
day 2 moderate tomorrow.
That's crazy. Imagine
Dude,
not
that was
being
crazy.
able to make it a
We
month
had a moderate risk on the
without
16th,
another
and then a
moderate
moderate
risk.
risk on the 18th and the 19th. We had 3 moderates out of 4 days in the middle of May. That's just crazy. Yeah, so tomorrow will likely be our longest coverage stream out of this sequence for severe weather.
Yeah, no
They
shit.
did just update the day 2 outlook to fix that issue with the 45 sig wind and the 5% tor. So both of those should be correct now. Keyword is should be. We'll see if they fix both of them.
Damn.
Yeah, so you can see this 70 mile per hour velocities are still pushing eastward here. So that's going to be going into Hamilton, possibly as far south as Vernon, and then going into Winfield here in a bit. So that's your what was producing 80 mile per hour winds now downgraded to 60 to 70 mile per hour winds.
Yep.
That's going to be impacting the I-22 corridor here in a couple minutes in northwest Alabama. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Share this stream with your family, friends, social media. It's greatly appreciated. Help get the word out about severe weather today. And yeah, also subscribe if you are new. We'll be live for a very long time tomorrow. You know what they did? Look at this. They forgot. They did not see that 5% tornado risk. You got to be kidding me. So they fixed the wind risk. That's now fixed. But the tornado risk in Virginia is still left. It's still left not filled correctly. Corrected for line error. Yeah, but you missed the 5% in Virginia. So they corrected one thing but forgot the other.
A classic SPC. Let's see.
Dude. That 5% tor in Virginia still needs to be fixed.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Further north up towards Florence, Alabama, because I know we've had some people from Florence, Alabama in this stream before. There is a pocket of 60 mile an hour winds just to your southwest. We'll see where that goes. I think that's going to head very, very close to Florence. That looks to be heading up like this to the northeast. So 60
So,
mile an hour winds will
guys, I'm gonna go
definitely
ahead
be
and
a
end the
real
stream
possibility from
and,
Florence, Alabama, back down towards
either wait
Louisville.
for Ryan
So
to
we'll
go
watch that
live
closely,
and
see
see
exactly
if
where
that
that pocket
happens,
of
or if
60
things
mile per
get
hour velocities end up going. Which
more
it should go,
more
like I said,
intense.
towards
I
Florence
will go live
in
again.
northwest
I'm
Alabama.
gonna put TRG's live stream in the
They've still
description
maintained
below,
the 70
or
mile an
I'm
hour
just gonna
severe
put it in
out
the
here
chat
from
so y'all can see
Hackleburg
it.
all the way down to Fayette
So,
and Berry, as well as Millport in
y'all stay
northwest
safe in Mississippi and
Alabama.
Alabama and Georgia.
You can still see all these
And if I have
velocities
to, I'll
here
talk
of
to y'all
upwards
later.
of 70
Stay
miles per
safe.
hour
Take care.
moving off to the east.